Greetings. So let's talk about the cells or soldiers that are involved in cell-mediated immunity. So we've already covered the cells of the innate immunity and the cells of the humoral adaptive immunity. Because remember, we have immunity, you have the innate, and you have the adaptive, and then we've covered the cells of the humoral adaptive immunity. Now we'll cover the cell-mediated immunity cells, which are part of the adaptive immunity, and therefore the endogenous threats, such as viruses and tumors. And so the big cell is the T-cytotoxic cell, or TC. And essentially, this cell has a CD8 marker on it. Okay? CD8 marker. So essentially, you have a cell, a nucleated cell, that's going to have an MHC1 complex on it, right? And it's going to have a self-antigen on it, just like it does, right? So what happens is there's either the cell has become cancerous or there's a virus that's gotten inside the cell. So because of that, either there's going to be no MHC or the antigen, the self-antigen on MHC1 is going to change. It's going to change. And because of these two things, the 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 cytotoxic cell is going to say there's something not right. Okay. Now the cytotoxic cell is a CD8 cell. So remember rules of eight, where MHC2 cells, which are the antigen presenting cells, macrophages, dendritic cells, and B cells, attach to CD4 T helper cells. MHC2 connects to CD4, 2 times 4 is 8. Gives us antibodies. That's our goal. Here, MHC1, this one, attaches to CD8 on the T cytotoxic cell. So 1 times 8 is 8. So that's rules of 8. Okay? But the CD8 fits perfectly here. The T cell receptor, does it fit on this self-antigen? Okay? So usually your immune system is very good. It actually takes out all the T cells that are that have the antigen towards self, so that takes out all the receptors towards the self antigens. However, with cancer and viruses, if the self antigen changes and we have a T cytotoxic cell that actually has a site that binds to this changed self antigen, no longer our antigen, then this connection fits and fits perfectly. Once this happens, the T cell becomes active, and like the natural killer cells, it makes holes and starts the apoptosis in the bad cell. Okay? So just to recap again, cell-mediated immunity is adaptive immunity, and it's towards endogenous or intracellular uh, threats such as viruses and tumors. Essentially, you have your MHC1 molecule on your nucleated cells, and it's got a self-antigen. With cancer viruses, the self-antigen goes bad and changes. Okay? And so the T cytotoxic cell comes in, the CD8 of the T cytotoxic cell connects with MHC1. CD8, MHC1, 8 times 1 is 8. And if the T cell receptor attaches to the self antigen, now that self antigen is now changed. And if you have a T cell receptor that is able to attach to that changed self antigen, this locking mechanism happens. Okay? This locking mechanism happens. The T cell then becomes active and makes a hole and starts apoptosis or cell death or auto-destruct in the bad cell.